Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Menaka.
Hello all.
And today, the session I'm going to host is Deploy ASP.NET Core Web Application to Azure Kubernetes Service with Azure DevOps. As the session is completely related to Kubernetes DevOps, the core concept is .NET Core. When .NET Core is already launched, we are upgrading from 2.0, 3.0 to 3.1, and now the preview for 5 is also it came. Even we have different stages of .NET Core being the framework is getting updated. The deployment concept remains same as of the older version to now. Once after the containerization, Docker concepts comes into the existence, the concept of deployment is also altering depending upon the new releases. So getting the knowledge of deployment along with the knowledge of .NET Core development is very important for a full stack engineer to develop and work with the operational team as well as. So I took this topic as a concern for this purpose. Then we can go to the slides like actually, I want to thank all the sponsors who've been doing this Azure Roam Day, and the slide is particularly for thanks to all the partners. And this is about me. I'm Menaka Bhaskar Pillai. I'm a C# Corner MVP. I got received my most valuable professionals from the community for my contribution from my college days to now. And I am a Azure.NET certified professional. At my first year of my career as a software engineer, I did my certification in Azure.NET, and I'm an active speaker and also a blogger. I've been a Microsoft student partner at the year of 2017 to 18. From those days, I've been a blogger as well as a speaker. And this is today's agenda. Those are the topics we are going to discuss today. Like what is DevOps Starter? Why we need DevOps Starter? What is Docker containerization? How come this Azure Kubernetes impacts our deployment process? What all are the pipeline activities we are going to do for our .NET Core application, and how we are going to deploy our .NET Core application in Azure Kubernetes? If you see this agenda, everything evolves around DevOps. It's a completely, we are going to see a wrap-up concepts of DevOps that include all the necessary features that an app need to have to face the deployment process that is happening in the DevOps platform. So the next slide is like, what is DevOps Starter? If you see, there are a lot of concepts that Azure services are having. There are separate services for build and host the web application. There are separate services to manage your data structure like data management, and there are separate services for AI and ML technology that include IoT platform, and separate Azure machine learning platform is also available. If you come to DevOps, there are separate services that are available for Azure for the deployment process also, that enable your web application to deploy fastly and securely in your development platform as well as in the deployment platform. The main function of DevOps Starter is to set up everything you need for the developing, deploying as well as monitoring your application. It will monitor your code, build as well as all the deployment from in a single view through the Azure portal. We can see how it is monitoring via our Azure portal. We can quickly deploy your application as to our Azure portal. It will automate the setup of CI as well as CD pipeline. If you see the complete graph, the DevOps Starter acts as a complete hero or ninja of the Azure DevOps. It's maintaining, it's deploying, as well as it makes us to view all the futures of things that's happening in your DevOps in a single view in the Azure portal. That is a main concept that took the DevOps Starter to extend today. And we go into next slide, why we need DevOps Starter. This is an important concern that we need to take into account when we are going for why we need DevOps starter. If we are studying some services, we need to know why we need those concepts. Why this concept come into an existence? Why this concept is on the future load of the emerging technology? Same thing we need for DevOps starter. Apart from clarifying all those things, the DevOps starter emerges, the DevOps starter plays an active role in DevOps. Why we need? What is the actual purpose? Why other services are not able to replace DevOps starter? The main purpose of the DevOps starter is it is customizing your build and release pipeline. You already having a build and release pipeline that is active in your Azure DevOps. The main purpose of the DevOps starter is to customize all your build and release pipelines. Once your build and release pipelines are getting customized, the activity you are performing in the DevOps that's been replicated in your Azure portal also. So you can able to manage all your code resources as well as your quality of work as well as the progress of the application that is being deployed. Everything by means of DevOps starter. It is used to test and build each commit before you merge your code. If I am committing any code, what are the changes that is replicating in my application when its endpoint is get loaded in the browser? All those features can be customized and it can be tested and it can produce a valued result before it get deployed to any other sources. And it tracks your backlog and you should write along with your application. Once your application is get deployed, it is used to track your backlog as well as your issues right along with your application. How many server requests has been sent, how many pull requests has been sent, how many commit I made in my code, how long the access has been in progress, everything can be monitored and it can be customized by means of my DevOps starter. That is the main concept that took DevOps starter to the next level of modern technology. If you see this DevOps starter, we can have some more concepts to get discussed. I have a DevOps starter in my office environment and I am deploying some of my applications to my Azure service. How does DevOps starter create an impact in my application deployment? Once if we have that kind of doubt, we can evolve while we are doing the demo session at the end of this slide. So this DevOps starter I just given the clarity why and what is it what it imposes as compared to the Azure DevOps. Docker containerization, and this is the main thing. Without Docker, without containers, I can't say I cannot deploy anything without this Docker containerization or containerization. I can deploy my application, but if I come to the concept of microservice or many other concepts like that include where the service been broken into multiple states and each services depend on other services for running, everything that depends upon the Docker containerization. So if you get into the concept of Docker containerization, this plays an important role because creating an image and pushing that image and in a container and make it as a container image plays a vital role in deployment. Because of the Docker, Azure Kubernetes service, other container services all are emerging because of this Docker. As a .NET developer, it enables us to enable the Docker support while we are creating an application. That will have a pop-up window that will ask either you want to enable your Docker for your Windows application or any other application. It will ask us. So understanding Docker and containerization concept plays an important role for each and every .NET developer as well as other developers too, because Docker containers containerization concept is not only for .NET developers, it supports all other platforms independently. So what is Docker containerization? Where this word comes Docker containerization? A standard unit of pack software. It is like you are thinking like what is like containers? I am new to this technology. I have not aware of what is containers. Yeah, I am the one who is new to this Docker containerization technology. So I came from the back from the very low standard what it is, what actually it means, what is Docker, what is containers, what is Azure Kubernetes, how it got linked. Yeah, unto the same.
So as per my understanding, it's like you think yourself you are going for a trip and you want to pack everything within a single bag. So you are having a suitcase where you're clubbing everything, all your need and all your needs that you are doing on a daily bias, and you are carrying for the purpose of utilization. Same, I am packing all my software in a single container. It contain all its dependency, all its libraries along with its operating system. That is what the containers actually mean. So I can run my container independent to my platform. So I can run it on my Linux or I can run it on my Windows, depending upon the OS kernel. I am supporting it with my application. So it is a standard unit of software. It is standardized for development, shipment, and deployment. Here it has a point, the actual meaning of containerization. It is a standardized unit. It supports for development, shipment, and deployment. Shipment is like transferring. So it has some features that include platform, pipeline, application evaluation. Platform plays an important role because Azure itself acts as having a separate service like platform as a service. So this platform addresses the global architectural requirement for your application, including its infrastructure, networking, storage, logging, monitoring. So the platform is addressing its complete global package of what your application actually want. I need this network support, I need this VPN access, I need this AD authentication, I need all the storage in my SQL or my Cosmo DB, or I need all the log monitor by either it may be Azure Bus Service or anything. I need my monitoring. So all it can be clubbed together and it is independent to other. And the second concept, important one, is pipeline. It is build a unified, secure, automated end-to-end application delivery pipeline. The pipeline process should be actually, this is how the actual pipeline will be. It will be unified platform and there will be a lot of secure process and it is automated because when my build is completed, I don't want to trigger my release date to be happen. It is automated, so it will deliver an application end to end from the start to the end. And application evaluation. It examines your complete application portfolio and its attribute to help you prioritize candidate for containerization, maintenance, and reference. This is a main concept that all the other concepts comes into. It's a portfolio. Usually what the portfolio contains, it contains every information of all the concepts that include your application details, everything as like a portfolio. So Docker is a tool, containerization is a concept. So we need to have an idea that is clear. Docker is a tool and containerization is a process that I am creating a clubbing my software into a package. So shall we go to next slide? Containerized application. See, this is how actually my containerized application will look like. I have a separate app A, B, C, D, E, F that is clubbed together by a tool called Docker, and it containing a host operating system as well as the infrastructure. The complete package is what the containerized application looks like. So I have all my application and all the features of the application, all the dependency libraries of my application, all the supporting OS, that is a OS kernel of my application, that the Docker tool is customized and containerized along with its infrastructure. So this is how actually my containerized application will look alike. So Azure Kubernetes. When we are discussing about Docker and containerization, so Azure Kubernetes comes into its action. Azure Kubernetes is nothing but a service of Azure that supports this containerized application deployments in Azure. So this is the main purpose of Azure Kubernetes, is to build, deliver and scale your containerized app. I already have an on-premise application. I have a Docker container, so I containerized my application and I obtain my image of the application. I want to deploy that into my Azure. Where I can do, I need some service to do that actions. So I can perform that action by means of Azure Kubernetes service. the main purpose of Azure Kubernetes services, we have lot of complex ability. Deploying a simple application did not create that much complex ability. But if you are deploying a multiple containers for which a single application supports, I will face lot of complex ability. That the deployment process of a single container it should not affect the other container process. So that can be deployed across the multiple server. I cannot assure that all my containers are deployed on a single server. It can be deployed on multiple server. So the second thing I want to make sure is that my containerized based in Azure Kubernetes services, that my containerized based application is portable, scalable and extensible way. Yeah, I want to implement my container based application in a very flexible way, that the accessibility and the way of reusability and the way of reliability should be in my hand, so that I can have the user friendly environment to manage my containers, to deploy all those needs by means of Azure Kubernetes service. And the main action comes in load balancing. If you see, load balancing is a very important concept that is not only for Azure Kubernetes service, since it is creating a VM, so it contains the concept of load balancing. Load balancing actually play an important role in VM. When there is a peak, I need a lot of things at the moment. So my requirement, I cannot go and alter my requirement, like I need more resource, I need more service. So the concept of load balancing is not only important in Azure Kubernetes service, but also in all the other service that have the VM concepts. And manage resource allocation and scaling. Resource allocation is a very important concept. Like I need to allocate the resource depend on in demands, and also scaling. Whenever there is a demand, I need to allocate the resources. Whenever the demands goes down, I need to reallocate all those resources. So those kind of activities can be managed, and it be managed by our Azure Kubernetes service. Self-healing of an application. I can monitor the health of my application by means of Azure Kubernetes service. So I can able to track how my application actually works, how many requests of server it actually does, and how many defect ratio, all other pair ratios, what all are the my futures of application that facing the complex ability, what all are the other issues that I will get in without prior notification. Everything I can be handled by means of Azure Kubernetes service. That's what's the reason Azure Kubernetes service plays a vital role, and it is an emerging technology where you can find Azure Kubernetes everywhere. That's the reason, because of its future, it's reaching its peak as of now. Kubernetes with DevOps. Kubernetes and DevOps are they are in a good bond, because they both are the real action heroes, because DevOps is already one of the emerging technology, because DevOps comes into an action where Kubernetes rises its action. I can say in a single word by in this format. With the DevOps and Kubernetes, we can have lot of automation process. We can do lot of manual work that being reduced. Lot of manual work will be reduced by means of those beautiful concepts like Kubernetes with DevOps. My code can be delivered faster with CI and CD pipeline. You can ask me here, why can't I can deliver my code faster with other things? Because I already said, like we are containerizing our part of application into separately as app A, app B, app C. So delivering the code faster with actual process in CI and CD pipeline, it will take quite complicated, and I already told, to avoid this complication that Azure Kubernetes came into exist. Here why we need Azure, in the second point I already told, removes the complexity of managing multiple containers. So to avoid this complexity, Azure Kubernetes came. So normally we will face a lot of complexity while we are doing those kind of activity. To avoid those things, we have Kubernetes. This Kubernetes with DevOps plays a very beautiful role, like it manages the resources very effectively with infrastructure as a code. So already I told, like the resource that's handled as infrastructure as a code is makes the technology to grow faster in a step ahead than before. And along with that, it accelerates the feedback loop with constant monitoring. We can monitor our feedback loop and we can perform all the monitoring activity by prior accelerating our existing activities. So it balances the speed and security with DevOps. So what all the DevOps functioning alone can be monitored and it can be secured, and its way of balancing can be boosted up or it can be retained slow by means of Kubernetes service. So Kubernetes with DevOps is actually what a thing that each and every DevOps engineer need to know, and this is an emerging thing that creates results as massively impress. So DevOps workflow with Kubernetes. If you see, this is what actually happening when we are working in a IDE where we having our code, everything. First we are creating, it's detailedly explained as a process in as 1, 2, 3 as a stepwise process. See the inner loop. I have my code in my IDE and I will test and I will debug. Again I will deploy that into the Kubernetes cluster. So once my IDE is getting into the Kubernetes cluster, I can have the source control over that. Either it may be a Git extension or the YAML files, whatever it is, I will have that. So once it is done, I will have a Docker to create a Docker image where I can have a container image, and I need to perform the container registry activity, that is Azure Container Registry, ACR. So I can scan all the process by means of Azure Container Registry. Once it is done, I can give that into my Kubernetes production cluster where it will have the Terraform things, and all those can be guided, and it will be checked under the policies that the policy need to be satisfied. Once it is satisfied, and it will be again goes into the build and release pipeline, where my build and release pipeline is already have the container images, so it will perform the activities in line with my Kubernetes cluster, production cluster. Once all those things will be deployed into my Kubernetes cluster, I can able to monitor as well as log my activities that been in my Kubernetes cluster. And this is how it actually our process is flowing from our dev environments, from our IDE to our Kubernetes cluster. If you see this inner loop, that is what actually happening in my Kubernetes dev cluster. Then I will have my source control in my Git version. I have a Docker to create a container image of the application that I want to deploy. After that, I need to perform Azure Container Registry action where I need to do the scanning process. All those things will take into my Kubernetes production cluster. This Kubernetes production cluster will perform build and release pipeline. Again, it will undergoes the monitoring and logging performance tracking things. So I can back to my Kubernetes dev cluster. This is what actually the entire process, how my application be taken into Azure Kubernetes clusters. And as we go for a demo now, see the service I am going to use is DevOps Starter. What I mentioned previously in my slide, I am going to create a new DevOps Starter. That this DevOps Starter will have a link with my actual DevOps account. That what all are the things I'm creating that I can be in replicate, I can able to view in my actual DevOps account. I need to choose the type of application that I want to deploy. I'm going to create a new application via my Azure. So I'm choosing the .NET application that I want to deploy. In .NET, I have several things like I have an IoT, as well as I can have a .NET Core, as well as with the .NET application I can enable my database also. So as of now, I having a .NET Core application. I want to deploy a .NET Core application that I am not want to add any database. So I can click ASP.NET Core. You can see those all are the services of Azure that performs the deployment activities like Kubernetes service, like service fabric clusters and all other things. So we are performing all the our activity via means of Kubernetes service. So I am choosing Kubernetes service. So this project name is the name that is going to replicate in my DevOps. So this is a project name I want to give, like this is like Azure demo. This is an organization that is already existing in my Azure DevOps. So I can create a new organization where I add the people, where I can manage the team, or already I had a team. I'm going to just add a new deployment. I just need to go with my existing organization. So as of now, I am going with my existing organization. If you want to create a new organization, you can create by in your Azure DevOps. And it is already a simple step where you need to create an organization, and we need to set up the team, everything. So I already have an organization, so I can. And this is my actual subscription, like this is the key, my existence value, which I can. So here comes the action. I can able to create a new cluster, that is my Azure Kubernetes cluster, or already I am having already one cluster, so I can use those cluster. But for as of now, for better understanding, I'm creating another cluster. This is actually, I told you, this creates a VM. So that's what the concepts of load balancing and reliability, everything comes into an account. So I can have the size of my VM, whatever, depend upon my purpose. And node count also here. If you see the additional setting, this is where your Azure Kubernetes concepts be, Azure Container Registry concepts, everything be here. So when I am creating the application itself, I am having the concepts of Azure Kubernetes service, where my insight location and my resource group, all the concept that's need for Azure Kubernetes service, along with my ACR concept that includes my container registry and the location where I want to host. So it's auto build, where you need to alter those things, when you don't need to put a manual effort to create separate AKS and ACR, those kind of things. So once you click done, just validate, and that's it. I just created. So it's creating, the deployment is in process. So I have all since it is taking some time. So we can discuss how it actually after my deployment succeed. See, this is how my application deployment in AKS with Azure DevOps actually looks like. Once my it's just creating a deployment is underway. Once the progress is completed, the first commit and the first release will be auto done. So it's you don't need to trigger it manually, and you will get a sample app that will have the endpoint where you can run this application in your browser to view. Along with that, in the additional setting, you choose the demo Azure ROM along with the Kubernetes version. Everything will be available. So all those insights, application insights, the server request, what all are the things that you need, everything will be visible. So let's see whether our deployment is complete. Yeah. See my new application deployment. You can see my build is in progress. I not yet triggered my build. I just created a DevOps starter account with a .NET Core sample application. It's actually deploying, after its deployment, the first build and first release is start, and I cannot able to see my application is deployed, because once my build and release is succeeded, I can able to monitor those things here. So still it is not yet build and release is not yet succeed, so I can't able to view those things. Now if I go and see here, we can discuss here still the process of build and release going there. So I created in my DevOps starter the Azure AKS, but I don't have separate things like Azure Kubernetes service. I didn't created that. When I am creating a sample application in Azure DevOps starter itself, my AKS also been get created. I can able to monitor my containers. My CPU utilization, my memory utilization, and my node count and active pod count. This is quite it's quite handsome. Like I can able to view all those things, all my application activity, all those data related to those things in a single hit. So this is how it actually looks, the AKS containers. And after that, view logs. If you see this monitor containers logs, these all are the words we've been seen in our slide before, like monitor, view logs, everything. So this is my log analytics. So I can create my own logs. I can log my application based on certain criteria. That you need to set up something manually. And we can view the Kubernetes dashboard. This is what actually we need to know. Like we can have the Kubernetes dashboard separately, where we can have all of the features that can be viewed on a single page. So we can either do by our CLI, or we can give the credentials and we can copy paste that, and we can perform that in a Azure portal. I think still our yeah, demo is at Rome. It gets the first build as well as succeeded, I think. So release is in progress. Now if you see in Azure portal, I created my new application that I want to deploy. You can see the name Azure Rome demo in my DevOps account in the organization which I've been already created. See? I can see the in my Azure DevOps account what all are the application that I deployed, and I can monitor that pipelines in my DevOps. So this is the application I created you to deploy in Azure. This is the application I'm viewing in my DevOps account. So if you see the release process is in progress, I can able to manually customize my release process here. So I can see my first commit build is succeed and my releases is in progress. So this is what happening, this is what replicating from my Azure portal. So until the release is getting in progress, we can perform some other things like demo is at home. See, this is the one which is already deployed. I had already showed in the DevOps starter this one, where I can able to see inside of my application and my endpoint of the application, everything. So we can discuss until that the progress is getting done. So if you see my build and deployment is succeeded, my application is also deployed to my Azure DevOps, Azure Kubernetes service, where I can get an endpoint. I can load it in my browser and it will actually works. If you see here, you can able to view all the files that includes the index, privacy, all those files the .NET Core application carries, including a Docker file. And this is a sample application, so it will have pre-built sample as like this. It will have a pre-built sample as like this when I load this in browser. So it will have the pre-built template form that include all those things. So along with the ARM templates. So this is where the things comes to hit, like when we are deploying something, it is an existing application. So I am deploying easily from the DevOps starter to my Azure DevOps. What will happen if I want to deploy my on-premise application to an Azure Kubernetes service via Azure DevOps? Then what you need to do is just go to your Visual Studio, where you need to connect to the, either you can clone directly from your Azure DevOps portal to your on-premise application inside, or you can deploy by means of connecting to that into your Azure DevOps, and you need to create an image and you need to build and push an image. After that, you need to use the publish artifact concept, where you can able to copy the files, that is the image. So you are doing actions by means of image, so you need to copy that image and you need to paste in the root folder, and by means of publish artifact, the all the dependency file that include the Docker file and all the YAML files, it will be need to publish in the artifact. Once it is done, you can, for example, I am having a Angular application that need to be deployed. I need to do with same with my Angular application. I need to create a Docker. I need to build and push my image. After that, I need to perform publish artifact actions, so that my on-premise application will also deployed into my Azure Kubernetes service. So if you see ARM templates, it contain all the developments, JSON, app setting JSON, all those things that I need for my application that need to be deployed. So still release is in progress. So what we need to do is, we are just going to see the code. See, this is the code actually. My sample application has, like, I have Azure DevOps project has been successfully set up. This is what, since it is taking time to get load, I'm showing the demo I already took here. This is how the endpoint, once it's get deployed, it will be loaded in my browser. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to add a new pipeline. So I want to change some of the features of my existing sample application, and I'm going to again do build and release pipeline. So what I am doing is, I'm performing build and release. So this is it's a sample, so I can change something like and then just I want to commit. I want to commit. This is a master, so I want to commit in my master itself. So give commit. So if you go to your lines, it will already show you. So my it's auto triggered. The changes I made it started to get deployed. Same with my release 2. My first release what I performed is already it's auto generated, and my commit and release has been done. This is my second one what I altered. So it's when the development when the build process is completed, it's auto trigger, and the release of the things I get changed also will started it. So if you see, yeah, again. See, this is the progress or logs where I can view the things that the build is getting hint before it's getting deployed, where I can see the Helm concept. This is automatically building and pushing an image, what I told for same for on-premise also, and it is getting the Helm in charge, installing along with copying the ARM template. This copying ARM template is we need to copy an image. We are copying the image to the root directory, and finally it is doing the publish artifact concept, and then it's doing the concept of Helm. The Helm concept is nothing but it's a chart concept. So all the necessary charts will be getting into the Helm. So when you are doing from on-premise, you need to do this as manually. We need to build an image. We need to customize our build pipeline, like building an image and pushing an image. After that, we need to copy all those ARM template, and we need to perform the publish artifact concept. Though for all those activity, we need a Docker file, because it's a .NET Core application where I am deploying in my Azure Kubernetes. So it need a Docker file. So once all my activities getting clear, I can able to view my application as the endpoint. While I loaded this, I can able to see the changes I committed to my application. So this is how actually it looks when all the build and release pipeline succeeded. So if you see, once my build and my change, what I committed pipeline getting deployed, this is how actually the Kubernetes service look alike. At first we have a dummy things here. We don't have any values assigned to the progress we did. So here we have the node CPU utilization, memory utilization, and I can able to see how much average and maximum thing I can able to cover, and up to which I can cover. The CPU utilization holds that value, and this is a node memory utilization. The same concept as like node CPU utilization, memory utilization is also covers. So this is what the health of my application looks. So it will show on time wise. On if it is on the same day, it shows on a time wise. If it is on a different day, it will show on the day wise concept. So if you go again here to our deployment, so see my new application which I deployed, I can able to monitor all my activities. Same. Along with that, I can view my server request as well as my failed request of my application. This is the inside of an application. I got an endpoint of my sample application which has already been set it up. This is how to deploy an application in Kubernetes with Azure DevOps. I can easily access my project homepage using this and my repository. while I can handle my pipelines, build and release via my Azure through my Azure DevOps. So I can handle here. So it shows my status of my first commit and first release. So this is how actually the Azure service, Kubernetes service that links with Azure DevOps. This is how actually my performance, my monitoring, my logic concept, all the essential features I want to do in my DevOps, I can easily handle those things in my Azure portal via those Azure DevOps starter along with my Kubernetes service. Here I have the insight. So at first I told I want to add something, but for my deployed app I have the insight features separately. So it's the ease of access when you are deploying your containerized images to your Azure Kubernetes service with Azure DevOps. You can monitor, log, and you can able to see your build, commit, changes, what you did, everything in a single view page. I hope I given a session in a clear. Let's start our question and answer session.
There are no questions. Thank you very much, and we hope to have quickly here in Italy for the next conference.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ansu.